Well, I'm a lot later than I had hoped in doing a video about Star Wars. We actually did see it the Friday it came out. We didn't get to see the late Thursday showing, but we did see it on Friday. Very much loved it. Thought it was just great, setting a wonderful pace and tone for the rest of the Star Wars stories. You know, showing that this, and this is something we all knew, that I mean, this franchise has staying power. This is a story that really does transcend you know, a certain generation, and we knew that, and this movie continues the trend of proving it, and so we were very happy with it. But I came out of there, and my wife and I had this conversation. And I was thinking along the way, it's like, you know, well, we gotta do a video about this. But then week of Christmas happened, and I had a video I'd planned to do for Christmas because it was about Christmas, and so I needed to do that. And then the 2016 celebrity death cult stuff raised its ugly head on Facebook, and I thought it was important to address that, and I ended up doing this video. I can't remember if it was like the day before or the morning before Carrie Fisher died, and so I really did a video kind of for my friends, and it blew up a little bit more than I expected, and people hopefully understood what I was saying, because I was talking about one thing and they were going to it for a different reason, but hopefully it all panned out. But I'm not going to do a lot of videos on Star Wars. It's you know, I'm getting a late start on it, but I wanted to talk about one thing, and this is one thing I really liked about the movie. The character that I liked the most was Krennic, and honestly, I think the weakest part about the movie is the character development, because there really wasn't a lot, and Krennic was the exception to that, and I thought he was really great. But this is the thing I liked most about it, is that, you know, he's very sympathetic. He's very sympathetic, that, you know, you really feel like, yeah, I mean, you put yourself in his position. You feel like Tarkin got it out for you. And Tarkin's just being a jerk. Krennic's doing all this work into this project and not getting any of the credit and all that. And when you sit back and look at actually what's happening, you kind of like, you know what? Actually, Tarkin's dead right about this. And Krennic is totally wrong. But, you know, it's told in a way that you still have complete sympathy for him. Because, look at it this way. I mean, Krennic is basically doing a massive general contractor job. He is managing a group of engineers and construction workers on this huge project. And so he's the architect for all this. But he's the architect that then wants to take control of the facility that he just built. And I realize he's in the military. I realize that he's got a rank. I mean, whatever the Empire's version of officer training school is, he's gone through it. But his career path has led him on a particular way. And we don't see this as distinctly in Star Wars as we would with like a Star Trek. Because like in Star Trek, they have different color uniforms, right? And we don't expect Scotty to take control of the biggest starship in the Federation. We don't expect Geordi LaForge to suddenly come up and it's like, you know what? I'm really the guy that keeps this all running. I'm the guy who like really keeps this all going. I should be in charge. We don't expect that because Geordi's an engineer, right? And that's kind of the way Krennic is. And you know, this whole thing. So this is the architect building this military weapon, and then saying, "I did such a good job on that. I want you to let me wield it in battle." And the military's going to respond. It's like, that's not really your job, right? That's not your place in the military. And Tarkin is a total jerk about this, but he's also a jerk who's right. And in that scene, and I'm not going to get the wording exactly right, but Tarkin, they do the test. It works. And Tarkin is like, great. Good job. I will now take control of this ship, this Death Star, as this has been my vision from the beginning. And here's a little thing from Episode 3, where we actually see Tarkin standing with Darth Vader, overlooking construction of the Death Star. And when you put these two things side by side, and first of all, let's see if we can get like I don't know if I can get video on this, so I'm like talking, and I don't know if I can do what I'm about to say. But if I can't get video, there will at least be a picture. But let's roll that tape. So Tarkin's actually right. Tarkin's been working on this longer than Krennic has. And Tarkin is a military commander. Where every time Krennic gets into a military situation, he fails miserably. I mean, goodness, just going to get a scientist, he gets shot by the one person on the entire planet who has a gun. And so every time he has a military job to do, he fails. And every time he has an architect engineering job to do, he succeeds. That's what he's good at. And then Krennic goes above Tarkin's head to Vader, to wanting to see the Emperor. And I'm just, in my head, I'm picturing that architect that built, let's just say, built a battleship, and then say, I want to command this battleship, I built it. And the general, the colonel, the general, whatever, is like, no, that's kind of my battleship. And then he goes above that person's head and demands to see the president, saying, I'm an engineer, I built the ship, I want to command the ship, and your general is not letting me do that. And we would laugh at that person, but that's actually what Krennic is doing. You know, he's going to Vader, he's trying to go as high up to the command as possible because he wants promotion into a field that he's not any good at. And here's the thing, it's like, we know people, my goodness, we know people. I mean, we see these people in the workplace all the time, right? I mean, there's always saying, it's like, well, it's not right the way they're doing that. I really should be in charge here. I basically keep this place running. I have this tiny little job to do at my work, and I do it well, and that basically keeps this entire thing running, and they should put me in charge. And, if you've ever worked for a corporation, one of the favorite pastimes of the people in the corporation is to second guess the CEO, because we have any idea. And look, and I've done it. I mean, I've done it. But Krennic is that guy who won't stop doing it. I mean, who's not just blowing off steam, but actually actually believes that he should be the CEO of the company, that he knows better than everybody else. And that's what is making this character so real and so interesting to me, and that I appreciate so much. And the fact that the filmmakers were able to depict that and still make him sympathetic, because we all hate that guy at work, but he made Krennic sympathetic, and I think that's a great achievement in storytelling. That's a tough thing to do, and so kudos to the filmmakers of this one.